What is going on, Radar Force? Today, we have a little bit of a history review here. Back on the topic of VHSs. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Captain Ginyu display box. Yes, you heard that correct. So, as you are all aware of, the Captain Ginyu saga was released in an uncut format and an edited format, also known as TV version for this saga only. And I'll show you. So on the bottom, there's a barcode, and underneath it will say uncut version. As you all are aware of, this has been educated for a long time now, and as you see, TV version here. Now, obviously, the other boxes will say edited. TV version, edited, same thing. But I'm assuming, and this is an assumption, I do a lot of that on this channel. Here we have the display box. Now, a lot of you might be asking, bro, that's just the uncut. Yes, the uncut tapes are in this box, but edited tapes can also be found in the display boxes, because the display box was purchased just an empty box on the zstore.com for, I believe, $5. And as you see, we have the display box. Different barcode and everything. It's called the display box. But on the zstore.com, you could buy a box empty just like this. So when you order your two tapes, either uncut or edited, you'd go buy this box to hold your two tapes. So depending on the versions that you purchased, you'd slide those in. Kind of like a starter set without a starter. You know, you just buy a box. So that is the history of the display boxes. But you may be asking yourself, which came first? Well, obviously the display box came first because Funimation, Captain Ginyu was Funimation's very first box set and very first VHS release. Because you got to remember, Saiyan Conflict and Namek Saga came out before, but they were released by Pioneer. And they, I guess, made their own boxes. The Captain Ginyu style box, the thickness of this box is thicker and a little bit different than the Saiyan and Namek sagas. So this is Funimation's first release, trying to do their own thing. And it shows. So Funimation just released the tapes individually, of course, at first. And then I guess they later decided to, like, hey, let's try to do what Pioneer did and release box sets for these. So then they did. So instead of selling uncut and edited, because remember, Pioneer only sold edited, they came out with the genius idea to sell display boxes. Well, shortly after the display boxes were released, they got rid of them and then started just sealing them and selling them with the tapes included, like Pioneer did. So these display boxes probably didn't last very long, and it probably caused a lot of confusion on the store. So they just ended up selling them together, bundled in what we see now as the uncut and edited. By the time the flimsy boxes came out, you couldn't buy display boxes. You know, Funimation went through 3 of what I call the hard boxes, with the Frieza saga and the Trunks saga. And then came Garlic Jr. and all the rest. And flimsy boxes. So by that point, by the time they released Garlic Jr., which I believe is the first flimsy box, display boxes were all but a thing of the past. But here's the catch. And this is a big catch. On the Z-Store, and you're about to see it on screen, on the Z-Store, there exists a Trunks display box and a Frieza display box. Although, out of our massive community that we have, people collecting VHS for decades, nobody has confirmed if a Trunks display or a Frieza display box exists. Nobody has been able to confirm it, except for the Ginyu box. But it was on their store at one point. So the question still remains, did those boxes say display box, or did they just ship them as uncut or edited? We don't know. Time will tell, but we don't know. And I'm not afraid to post this information right now. because I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to see if the Trunks and Frieza Saga display boxes exist. So everybody watching this, from now on your normal searches, every time a Frieza box and a Trunks box pops up, you need to see the bottom. You need to see if it says display box, like this one. Also, I don't know why. I don't know if this is just pure luck, but we have a guy in our community, in our Discord, called Bag, and he has a display box factory sealed with 2 tapes inside. I think his is the uncut as well. It has the uncut tapes, and it's sealed inside with the display box, which I know for a fact it should never been sealed with. So either he has a fake reseal, which I don't think is the case, or Funimation just didn't have an uncut box to throw with it, so they just sealed uncut tapes with the display box, which is crazy. But it's possible. It's very possible. So anyway, it's not out of the question to see one sealed. So even if you see a sealed box, you need to check the bottom just to be certain. But more than likely, you're going to find them used because most people bought them to store their tapes. So anyways, that is the mystery of the display boxes. And if anybody has any more information on these, please, please, please let me know. I would love to put this mystery to rest and see if the other 2 exist. Because if they do, that is going to be crazy, crazy, crazy news. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, this product review, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And, hey, make sure you join the website. It's live now. Yeah, it's live. So join up there, mark your collections, and start chatting. Peace!